For sure, if you don't have gold, and maybe even silver, there are other things that are more important in this kind of disaster, like being able to grow your own food. Living in towns is a big problem because it makes it harder to get the things we need, like food. Who would want to grow veggies, meat, or anything else and sell it to people in cities who can't afford it? Sorry, animals. You'll get to live a little longer. That really is a problem. You will lose all of your cash. It's really that easy. Think about how much 4 trillion marks was, if you will. I don't remember the exact number, but I think that before the war, the total amount of money in circulation was counted in Reichmarks, not trillions, or even millions. But really, that number was very, very low. So paper dollars that aren't backed by anything won't get you a cup of tea at the end of the day. If you have gold, on the other hand, you can exchange it for useless dollars, which you'll spend very quickly before they lose even more value. That was really the lesson that I learned from that. Besides that, if you have gold, and especially if you have legal tender, the rules vary from country to country, then you might be able to use your gold to buy things like real estate, farmland, nice country estates, or just to hide from everyone, which could keep you out of trouble. But really, this is a very, very big problem. It will hurt everyone. Since, let's face it, not many people actually have gold, or have it in any real way. I mean, we haven't even talked about the problems that come after. To use Germany as an example, the total collapse of the currency and the economy in 1923 caused political instability. In fact, it led to Nazism, Hitler, and all that other bad stuff, as well as World War II. We can't just do this to get it all out of the way and move on with our lives. It's not really like that. Being very careful about what's going on is still going to be important after what looks like another big inflation and the fall of fiat currencies. What worries me the most is that I don't see how any leader in the West has the power to actually fix the problem. When we think about this, we should feel more sorry for the problems the German political class had in the early 1920s. Yes, and if you look deeper, you'll see that some people knew what they were doing. They were aware that what they were doing was wrong, but they didn't have many other options. That's how it went. I've tried to make a motto out of get out of credit. I know it's hard, and you can't really get out of debt because gold doesn't really work as money anymore. It hasn't since the Middle Ages. Credit is what moves around, and most people don't get this. You have to be open to credit, but make sure you're protected against the things we've been talking about in this movie. They will happen, and I think they will happen pretty soon. Today, things go by a lot faster than they did back in the 1920s. When I think back to the 1920s, people used cash to buy things. Then they had so much cash that it lost its value. People wouldn't take checks from your bank account because they took 3 days to clear. What happens to the value of that check after 3 days? It's like everything else, it goes down. Of course, payments are quick these days. It has electronics. That means you don't have quite the same issues we did back then. In terms of banks, it's clear that technology has improved. After that, you should think about how safe your bank is. That is, we know that the feds turned things around, and they make sure that the banking system stays honest. We're not going to let banks fail. A bank that isn't doing well will always be bought out, and investors will be safe. In fact, they have to do that because the FDIC security isn't enough. It's not a big part of the whole risk. Yes, I agree. There are many things to consider. I believe the most important thing is to know what's going on and have some cash. That's why I started my Substack, to help people who aren't necessarily in business understand what's going on. If you go to people in the finance industry and ask for help on the future, you will always get the same answer. They have no idea what's going on or what has happened to currency. They think that cash is money, but it's not. It's money. It is just another way to borrow money. It's the best kind of honor. But everything else goes away when that does. And I can tell you that I understood how things were going when I started doing this. About 10 years ago. I'm sorry to say that I was mostly right. I have mostly been right, but not always. This may be a little too early in the game. People laugh at me because I believe in conspiracies. And every time I give a speech in London, I find that fewer and fewer people think I'm a conspiracy fanatic. They are starting to think a little more in the same way I do. They don't believe it. You won't get the kind of help you would get from someone who really understands what's going on if you go to them for advice. They have been trained by the government not to give that kind of advice. By the way, we don't give business advice. We just try to tell it like it is. That's why I set up the Substack. I'm happy to say that it's grown really quickly. What do you get when you pay for the full service? I don't think giving up a couple of Starbucks once a month is a big deal. It's better with more people. I just want to spread the word. What's going on? I want people to know so they can make their own choices that will affect their future, the future of their families, friends, and neighborhoods. Typed up by turboscribe.ai. To get rid of this message, go to GONE Unlimited.